Hi, howdy, hello. You know what time it is. It's just about 11:11 time. Feeling good enough to sing, y'all. You know what that means? Not much except for I'm a singing. As usual, I'm here to hold myself accountable to myself, do a little body check-in and a little let go of stressing, and I invite you to join me to whatever degree feels good in your body. I encourage you to do a little shaking things off, a little breathing in and breathing out. Try on a smile or two. See if you like it. Anyhow, mostly listen to your own body. Try to check in on your alignment if you can. Remember that there's not one way. There's no one right way or one wrong way to check in with yourself, to love yourself, to be yourself. In fact, there's only one way to be you. So I hope you're doing your best with what you got from where you are. I trust that you are. You can trust that that's what I'm doing too. I'm going to take a breath or so and just bring my attention into the bottoms of my feet. Make sure not to lock those knees. Tuck the tailbone under a little bit. I got a crick in my neck from keeping the arm in a sling, so I'm still just focused on flow and letting go, and also moving slow. All of that rhymes, you know, it's true. And still keeping this elbow relatively immobile. Happy to say it is healing, but still not a load-bearing elbow yet. All that said, I'm going to root myself into the center of the earth. Just take a nice slow roll down, checking in with the spine, starting up top, coming on down, seeing where it's sticky, where it's supple, on down past the waist, all the way to the hips. That's the waist, that's the hips. All the way down to the hips, making sure not to lock those knees. And relaxing the belly, relaxing the neck, relaxing the spine. Just letting gravity do some unwinding. Let's do a gentle pull over to the left. Back to center. And then a gentle pull over to the right. Back to center. And then just a nice gentle roll back up. Still got some congestion going all through my body. I'm going to do some shoulder rolls while I'm up here. Breathing in on the way up and just letting go on the way down. Shaking that out and going the other way. Got lots of ka-chunks still in there, so just giving that a little wiggle jiggle, a little flow. Let's do another forward fold from the hips, this time with a relatively flat back. Still making sure not to lock those knees, and a nice swan dive down. Again, from the hips, letting go in the belly, letting go in the neck, letting gravity do some unwinding through that spine. And then pushing through the feet, bending the knees, rolling these hands and shoulders back. On account of the elbow, I'm not going to bring those all the way around, but I'm just going to lift the chest, push those hips forward, and enjoy a nice counter stretch. Letting go, and then coming to center, shaking that off. Let's do a little stepping back with the left foot first. Making sure I'm not stepping on any artwork. I got my paintings out. I'm excited about that. Pulling this back hip forward, forward hip back. Tucking the tailbone under a little. Relaxing the shoulders. Pushing into that back heel. And checking that this front knee isn't crunching past the toes. And just enjoying a nice, strong and relaxed pose, focused in on that core. Still relaxing the bottoms of the feet. I'm still not doing any weight or load bearing on this arm, so doing a modified stretching. Happy to be able to get back to some of it. Let's do some twisting to the off side, closing that hip even more, and checking in on those feet on a parallel plane, pulling that back hip forward, forward hip back. Gazing down both arms, checking in on those fingertips and the balance, relaxing the shoulders. Again, limiting my movement in the shoulder or in elbows. I'm going to bring this arm back forward, bring those hips back to perpendicular. Checking in on the core again, tucking that tailbone under, and then stepping forward with that back foot, coming back to center. I'm just going to step back to stay in camera, shake those arms out a little bit, shake the shoulders out a little bit, step back with the right foot this time, again into a moderate lunge, tucking the tailbone under, pulling that back hip forward, forward hip back, relaxing the shoulders, pushing into that back heel, checking that this front knee isn't crunching past those toes. Just enjoying a nice, strong pose through the core. Relaxing the shoulders, gazing out at the imaginary horizon with soft eyes. Then I'm going to close those hips, pulling that back hip forward, forward hip back, coming onto that back toe for that, and then again gazing out past those back fingertips, the more intense focus, sharp focus on those fingertips, and then bringing the gaze forward to the front fingertips. Bring this arm forward, shifting the hips, shifting back onto that back heel, checking that those shoulders aren't wiggling up into the ears like mine tend to. And again, just enjoying a nice, strong through the core pose. Relaxing the shoulders, tucking the tailbone under, pulling that back hip forward, forward hip back. Don't forget to breathe and smile, whatever else you're doing. I'm going to step forward with that back foot. Shake that out a little bit. Swing the arms a little bit. Got this hitch in my giddy up over here as a result of having a hitch in my giddy up over there. That's how the body is. Pretty amazing. Always wanting to keep these eyes level on the level. Let's do a little hip swaying while I'm thinking of it, because my body seems to want to. Let's see, starting in a straddle position. We'll start lower on those inner thighs, dipping on the right, just gently. I'm keeping my feet parallel and wider than hip width apart. And see what feels good, and dipping on the left. For me, that brings a stretch into the inner leg, mostly the thigh, down into the lower leg a little bit, depending on how wide I put the legs, which I encourage you to play with a little bit. See how that feels in your body. And again, dipping on the right. And dipping on the left. And dipping on the right. Dipping on the left. I encourage you to sing and smile and breathe if you can manage all three of those things. You can give yourself a ding of success and a pat on the back. Say, yay, I'm doing it, I'm doing it. Walk these feet under the hips. I'm going to bend the knees a little bit and slide the hips over to the left. For me, that brings a stretch up into the torso, sliding over to the right. Trying to keep them relatively parallel to the floor. And weight on both feet, which is a little bit tricky for me. Over to the right. And over to the left. Oh yeah, I forgot to breathe and smile. Did you see I was trying out scowling and holding my breath? Doesn't work as well, but I still try it out sometimes. You're welcome to as well, of course. It's your life. Shake all that out a little bit. And I'm going to do some pushing into the hip for good measure over to the left. Gently now. You don't want to pop that ball and socket joint out of its arrangement, but you do want to keep it limber so that it doesn't pop out when you're using it. Plus, it's a useful kind of thing. So are elbows, as it turns out. Pushing into the right. I like to wiggle that around a little bit. And into the left again. Let's come back to center. Shake that out. I'm tempted to do some neck stretches, but my neck is not on fire at the moment and it's still a little out, so I'm just going to leave it alone for good measure. Let it settle. Sometimes that's the best thing. Just let things settle. As a pot stirrer, I can attest to that. Thank you for the love. I do appreciate it. I hope you remember to listen to your own body. Give yourself what you need. Continue to show the universe how you like to be loved. I think that's what it's all about. Remember to let go of some stress. There's more on the way. You don't need to hang on to all of that. You can always pick it back up again too. Try on a smile.